Hey, it's Adrian, and today I want to show you how simple it is to add more space to your PS5 by adding in an NVMe SSD drive. So the first thing we should do is just to go into settings here, scroll down to storage, and you can see at the top right it shows 667 gigabytes is what the PS5 comes with. And right now I have 28 gigabytes free, so you can see I definitely need to add in a drive right now. Looking at the left side, you can see there's only two options here, console storage or USB extended storage. Once we add in that NVMe correctly, we're gonna see another option here. PlayStation 5 is here, screwdriver, the heatsink, and the NVMe that we're putting in today. So this is the Samsung 980 Pro. This is a 1 TB drive. And you can see here at the bottom, it shows the read speeds are up to 7,000 megabytes per second. So that's way more than the minimum requirement that Sony states. The first step is to remove this front cover. So if you have a disc version, it's going to be the cover with the disc. And if you have the digital version, it's going to be the cover without the PlayStation logo. So what we have to do is pull this plate down while we lift up in the corner here. Once you've taken off that front cover, the next step is to remove the screw from this SSD plate here. Now, it is a bit of a smaller screw in terms of the head, so you may need a very small tip to get rid of that. Then just lift up the plate. Now that we have access to the SSD bay, you can see that there's 4 empty holes here, and then there's a screw and a standoff at 110. Now this drive is a 2280, so what I'm going to do is remove this screw and standoff and move it into 80 when I place the SSD. So I've taken the SSD drive out of the package, and the last step that we have to do is just to apply the heatsink manually. For the heatsink package, so there's installation instructions, screws, some wipes, a small screwdriver, and of course the heatsink unit itself with 2 thermal pads. So I removed the protective film from one side of the thermal pad, and I'm just going to apply to the SSD drive now. Now I want to make sure I don't go far enough where I cover that little half circle there, because that's where the screw is going to go to secure it. So I'm just going to line this up as close as I can, remove the protective film from the thinner pad. Sorry, I should say the next step. Again, apply it in the middle. Okay, so I've applied both pads to the SSD, and I've tried to kind of press it and sandwich it as much as I can. The next thing to do is to place it into the housing here and then screw it in. Okay, so I finished screwing in all 4 of the screws on the heatsink, and you can see everything's looking good. One thing I wanted to mention is pay attention to this cutout here. That's there for a reason, so you know where to align the SSD drive and where to position it. The next step is to line up the SSD with the heatsink applied to the metal contacts right in there. And you can see on the SSD there's a little indent there on the right side. You're just going to line up that indent with the connection in there. Before I insert the SSD into the slot there, I did remove that screw and standoff from over there. So I'm going to put it into 80 like I mentioned. I'll leave the screw there for now. So when you insert the SSD, just make sure it lines up, and you'll hear a satisfying click like that. Now we'll just screw it down, and I can see that that little standoff has come loose. I'll just put it back into place. There we go. So everything's already secured, everything's tight. Now that the SSD is in, I'm gonna put on this cover plate again. Okay, so we have the NVMe here, the plate is back there, and the last thing is to put this cover on. So just go backwards, and you're done. Okay, so I've connected the PlayStation back. Now I'm just gonna turn it on for the first time. So as soon as I turn it on, you can see it's now saying, to use your M.2 SSD, you need to format it. And when you format it, all data is going to be deleted. That's fine, because I don't have anything. It's a brand new one. So I'm going to click Format. Okay. So it shows that the read speed is 5,539 megabytes per second. Now this is rated for up to 7,000, but we're getting 5,540, let's say. So I'm going to pick OK. So M.2 has been formatted, and it gives us some instructions on how to change where games are installed. Okay, so let's go into our settings and confirm that the storage is there. So you can see the console storage, it still remains unchanged, 667. And if we go to the M.2 storage, we could see we have 1 terabyte of free space, and there's no games or apps on there yet. Really quick tip, in case you do want to move things after you just install it, go to Games and Apps, select the game. So I'm going to select Battlefield, that's about 109 gigabytes. I'll pick Select Items to Move, and you can see I can click the option here to move, and it shows on the right side there. After moving it, I'll have 890 gigabytes remaining on the M.2. And I'll just go ahead and move that just to demo the speed. So you can see it's pretty fast. To move 108 gigabytes, it's going to take just about a minute. And there you have it, 109 gigabytes moved in just over a minute. Super impressive. Now, if you don't want to go through all of this, Samsung does sell this drive with a heatsink already applied for more money, of course. This heatsink just cost me $11 US, so it's a far cheaper option to just buy the heatsink, manually apply it, and then install it. Before you buy your heatsink to manually apply, just make sure it states that it'll fit a PS5. The last thing you want to do is go through all of that work and find out that it doesn't fit. If you're interested, I'll leave a link to the one that I use specifically in this video. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking and subscribing. I'm planning on making more of these kind of quick tips and tricks, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.